ladies and gents. Got a little something that we're going to talk about this afternoon. We're going to have a discussion that a lot of people are deliberating over, and they are tiptoeing around the issue. I don't watch a lot of news anymore because as I'm watching the news, I can tell when they're not telling us the truth. Because you know the thing, if it sounds too good to be true, ladies and gentlemen, before they even have the entire story, they're giving us the completed story. You cannot tell a story and give the ending before you have the book. So let me give you an ending to a story. I want y'all to follow me because I'm just hearing about it for the first time this afternoon. Supposedly, a young man dressed in a dress goes on top of a building and fires 70 times from a roof into a crowd. Women and children. Wait, hold on. Thought it was firecrackers. That's all right. No problem. Thought it was firecrackers. 70 times from a roof. He disrobes, takes off the dress after he comes down from the ladder. No, hold on. Everybody knows you leave hair fibers. The man's got hair. He doesn't just have no short hair, he has hair. Everybody knows you leave hair fibers. The first thing, if you're going to do something like that, and I'm not trying to tell somebody how to commit a crime, but you shave every ounce of hair off of you. That means everything from head to toe. So you don't leave any DNA. But the police, they locate the car, they said. He flees from the car, and they arrest him after they catch up to him without incident. Let's give the police a hand. I am not making light of the individuals who lost their lives in that incident. Ladies and gentlemen, during the same week, another guy in another city is being pulled over for a traffic infraction. Never told what the infraction was. Did he run a red light? Did he go through a stop sign? Did he fail to yield? Did he have a broken tail light? Did he have some air fresheners hanging from the mirror? Just traffic infraction. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, high-speed chase. He's firing out the window. Doesn't say he's shooting at us. They said he's firing out of the window. What a gun. They catch up to him. He gets out of the car. He takes off running like a superstar. And they shoot him 60 out of 93 times. What's the difference between the two stories? Wait, hold on. The guy who was at the 4th of July so-called parade, he was known to have a gun. At least more than one. When he gets out of the car, he's known to have had a gun. Not a single shot fired. Hold on, no, don't go there just yet. Let's go to Boston. Guy shoots a bunch of elderly people. He's known to have a gun. Taken into custody without incident. Isn't it amazing? Give the police a hand. Took the guy into custody with no further loss of life. In both situations. Got a problem. Texas mass shooting. The police know the guy has a gun. He's got a bunch of children hostage. And while he has all of these children hostage, the police say, no, it's okay. We're going to be with you in about 47 minutes. No, we're not going to send a negotiating team. Nobody's going to talk to you. We're going to leave you be. We're not going to say a word to you. You just go ahead and do whatever it is you need to do. Take a nap if you want to. You ain't got to worry about us. We're not even going to bother you. But hold on now, because you guys are not getting what's going on. That so-called gunman ended up dead, right? Well, if he ended up dead, I need y'all to pay attention. Without incident, ladies and gentlemen, not one single report of him firing his weapons, and he had military-style weapons, at a single officer. Remember, they went into the classroom. Not a single report of shots fired. Why is that? But no. Go ahead. We have an incident that happened in California in 2004, where a young man said he was on parole. The police came to his house, the sheriff's officer, and they said he shot and killed the sheriff's officer, shot him in the head. So there's a high-speed chase. They catch the guy. Wait a minute. They take him into custody. He looks a little bit battered and bruised, but we can't tell because the only shots we're getting is from a camera from a helicopter. Hold on. It's happening in California, Los Angeles, South Central. He's found hanging in a cell later that night. Ladies and gentlemen, he was in Twin Towers. You can't hang yourself in those cells. That's a modern jail. It is hang-proof. See, it was designed by psychologists for just that purpose because too many people were being found hung in a cell. Remember, don't push me because I'm close to the edge? But they told the public he hung himself. Just like they said the idiot Epstein hung himself. Imagine that. But everybody seems to think it's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, people are dying. And yes, people are doing some horrible and stupid things. But do not take away from the credit of the idiots who are sitting up here lying to you. As long as they say, we got our man, you guys accept it and you move on. Do you not understand where we are in time? Or do you not understand where we are in time? Do you guys not get this? That is not justice, people. Revenge is not justice. Taking another man's life, taking another woman's life is not justice. Or we're going to put them through the judicial system. That's not justice either, people. There is no justice in this country. If you believe it, then stop lying to yourself and stop letting them lie to you. Well, he was brought to justice. Stop letting them tell you that lie. Yes, justice is the goddess justice. We know that, but that's not what I'm talking about here. They're making all of you think that because the suspect died, that's justice. He's gonna pay for his crime. He took a life, we're gonna take his life. This is not an eye for an eye country, people. The people elected not to have eye for an eye. That's why they put limitations on government so that government could not do the eye for an eye. That's what they did over in England. Don't you people get it? In England, whenever the king said off with his head, whenever the queen said off with his head, it was off with their heads. The people said, no, we're not going to have that type of government. Well, look at what we have. We have that type of government. Nobody is checking the police. Oh, you guys don't get it? The people who investigate the police are the police. The police, internal affairs, that's the police. You guys do not understand about the blue shield, the green shield, the blue wall, the green wall, how they protect their own, the so-called brotherhood? Do not let these idiots keep fooling you. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I just came out of an environment almost a year and 3 months ago, where it was the police who were behind the assaults. They were actually paying inmates commissary to beat up other inmates. Then they said I was the one who was snitching on them. And all I'm doing is sitting up there watching them do it. But to get back at me, I have to be the snitch. Who am I going to snitch to? I don't even have access to the phones. I can't call anybody. But that's what they said. These are correction officers, but they're peace officers. They're police. Every correction officer is a police officer. They did that after the World Trade Center situation, where the police officers were behind the assaults and the gang assaults. When I say gang assaults, I don't mean gang member assaults, because I'm positively certain they're behind that too. But where members are ganging up on individuals and assaulting them, putting them in a hospital, stabbings, killings. This is the so-called correction officers doing this. It's not a secret. The system knows this is what's going on. But all of you, you just sit back and you don't say anything. You keep it to yourself. You don't care. To this day, I am trying to help everybody, including the people who I met in Puerto Rico in their system, the people I met in New York in their system, the people here in California in their system. I am trying to still help those individuals because I gave them my word. Who are you trying to help? Yeah, I know. You say you got your own causes. Yeah, you're helping such and such, and you're helping such and such. Ladies and gentlemen, you all are contributing to the problem because you're not organized. I'm not asking you to get together and protest. I'm not asking you to get together and riot. I'm not asking you to get together and call your congressman. I'm asking you to just stop accepting the lies. Look, you all know that I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses, so the scriptures have already foretold these things were going to happen. We've known these things were going to happen. We know that we're living in the last days. I don't care if you believe in Jehovah or not. There are people out there saying they don't believe in God. That's a lie. They lie to themselves and they lie to you. Our society has tried to get us to believe that out of everything in existence, we come from a milky guck of junk. And out of the trillions of possibilities, that one time we happen. But no. This is not a trillion in one chance. Ladies and gentlemen, this are several hundred quadrillion to one chances. Why? Because they said we came from one cell splitting up and dividing up and splitting up and dividing up. And the first thing that one cell, well, it became a duck, a dog, a cat, a giraffe, a horse. Do you see the likelihood? But wait a minute. Hold on. I ain't got horse in me. Okay? Your mama got horse in her. I'm sorry. Some people are going to be stupid. So that's a comment for them. That's not a comment for the people who have sense. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, even those individuals who believe in that stupidity, evolution. Yeah. See, you don't understand. Evolution does happen in nature. It does happen, but not the way they say it happens. Yes, creatures do evolve and they do adapt to their environment. We know that because we adapt to our environment on a daily basis, just like you guys are adapting to them killing people and accepting it as if it's normal. But it's okay because it's another black person. You see, a person of color dying in the 1800s and the 1700s and the 1600s was okay. Seeing them hanging from a tree, that was normal because you accepted it. I wasn't even alive then. How could I have accepted it? Because you accept it now. It happens because you remain silent. Do you know how many Jim Crows there were? Huh? Do you guys know? Do you realize how many houses was burned? Molotov cocktails with people still inside. How many Huey Newtons there were who were gunned down by the police in their own bed? No weapon, no nothing, not a chance, no warning, anything, just killed in their own bed. And you people, you older ones who were around when that happened, you remain silent because it wasn't you, it wasn't your relative, it wasn't your friend, it wasn't somebody you knew, so it was okay. Isn't that how we all feel? Amazing, ain't it? Let me tell you something, everyone. I feel for these people. Now, my situation is different than yours. You see, I grew up being the most sensitive guy I knew. I used to tell people I am the most sensitive guy that I know. Man, I used to cry when a person would get hurt on television. The TV movie, Something for Joey. Some of you guys will remember Something for Joey. Okay, I remember Something for Joey because I cried in the movie Something for Joey when Joey died at the end of the movie. I believe he had leukemia, and that was the time when they were just talking about leukemia. So many movies I cannot watch to this day because I can't handle it. Another person is in pain, I would feel their pain. So when Bill Clinton would make the comment, I feel your pain, I understood the comment because that was my curse in life. Well, no. Because after the hypoxia, being without oxygen for over 18 minutes, and the retrograde amnesia took them 33 years plus to diagnose retrograde amnesia when all of the symptoms have always been there. And the aphasia, I don't feel sorry for things. No, I still can't watch death. I had we have rodents out here, and a rodent was in the house. I knew he was here, but he wasn't bothering me. He was just running around. He wasn't bothering me, so I allowed him to be in here. Aren't you afraid of getting rabies? No, because he only came out at night. I didn't have to worry about him. But what happened is he ended up getting into a container that had water and then he died. Do you know it took me over 3 hours to dispose of him? Because I couldn't stand looking at his dead body. So I still have those problems. Did I feel sorry for him? No, because I realized he didn't belong in my house. Now I have poisons that I could have put around the house, but I didn't because I didn't want him to die. I just figured he would just eventually leave. Well, he left, not in the way he wanted to, but he left. Ladies and gentlemen, I did not want to put that poison out for the ground squirrels. But let me just tell you, I don't have any more ground squirrel problems or any jackrabbit problems either. I had enough of the undermining of the foundation. They had to go. And I felt very bad putting that stuff out for them, but because I tell you, ground squirrels, those are some of the cutest little animals. They're like chipmunks when you see them from a distance. Everybody thinks chipmunks are cute until you live on a property with chipmunks. All I had to do was be here for a couple of months with the ground squirrels, and I understood. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the same way the police feel about us. People of color. They don't feel for us. I've had many officers tell us how much they don't care about none of the people they arrest. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot do that. You cannot be a judge and not care. You cannot be a police officer and not care. You cannot be a part of the military and not care. You must care. You cannot not care. When you stop caring, you stop being human. They're only following orders, but the people they're following orders from doesn't care about you or me or anyone else. Ladies and gentlemen, they're doing this stuff on purpose. They know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly why they're doing it. Okay? They know how they got started. They know when they got started. Yes, a lot of the shootings are not real. It's all fake news. I know that, but some people are dying. So some of the deaths are legitimate. But when they tell us, now I want you to understand, when they say 150,000 people died in that one shooting, we take their word for it because we have no way of counting the numbers. We were not there. We are not part of the investigation. So we don't know how many people died. But we know that they've been doing that for years. Yeah, 8 million people died during the Holocaust. No, I'm sorry, it was 10 million people. Oh, no, okay, well, yeah, oh, no, okay, all right, it was 15 million people. They keep changing the numbers because they're guessing at that point with a situation like that. But in these situations, in that Uvalde school shooting, ladies and gentlemen, I know that there were some people who lost their children in that incident, but I do not believe that everybody whom they claim died. Sandy Hook, same thing. I think they padded the numbers. I think they gave us numbers just like I told you, and they cannot ever be given any forgiveness for this. They said that the shooter in Uvalde sat up there and came into contact with a safety officer, only to reveal later that the safety officer was not even at the school, that he was not even there that day. Ask yourself a question. He's a safety officer. He's required to be there during school hours while children are there, while school is in session. So why wasn't he there? How come nobody's asking the questions? Ask yourself the question, why did they say that there was a safety officer there and that the individual ran into a safety officer? Ask yourself these questions. Don't just accept the story. I'm sorry, you guys have no idea. It's about to get a lot worse than this. And my heart breaks because we are people and we don't even care about each other. We don't care about our brother. We are not our brother's keepers. And we don't even realize that that was the bad seed of the family that said that. The good seed of the family went to go help his brother. But nobody pays attention to that. Abel went to go help his brother. Cain eventually said, I'm not my brother's keeper after he assaulted his brother because he didn't care for his brother. Ladies and gentlemen, we are supposed to care for our brother. We're supposed to have our brother's back. We're supposed to be helping one another. We're supposed to be there for one another, but we are not. We are too busy worrying about us. We're too busy worrying about me. All of my emails are from people who are trying to say, how can I do this? How can I do that? Do you not understand selfishness? One guy, I'm not going to say his name. I'm not even going to tell you the whole scenario situation. I ain't even write this one back. He said that there was a community property between him and his relatives. They all owned the property together. He wanted a way to get the property out of their names and put it in his name and then let them have the equity. Excuse me? Let them have the equity and you get to keep the property? That's not your choice. You all own the property together. You don't get to make that choice. What the? I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Lord have mercy. My heart hurts because there's so much of that on this planet. I'm tired, everybody. I'm exhausted. We're helping people with the credits and everything, but everybody wants their junk now. They don't want to wait until we make sure what we give them is solidified so that nobody can come back at them saying, "Oh no, what you did was wrong." They don't want to wait till that. They want it now. They don't want to wait till tomorrow. Forget tomorrow. I want what's coming to me right now. I want it now. Why? Because I'm going through. Because I. They don't care. F the fact that they're getting it and they didn't even pay for it. F the fact that they're getting it and it's being given to them as a courtesy. F the fact that they're getting it and it was really not even promised to them. F the fact that we didn't even give them a date for when we were going to give it to them, other than the fact that it was a security. And our securities, we told people from every time and time again that it's a 5-year security. We're not even at the 5-year mark, but of course they want it now. I don't want to ignore them, but the amount of stress I'm going through, this is my voice right now. So I'm dealing with that, and I turn on the news and I hear that there's a shooting, and I can't even listen to it anymore. I can't even finish listening to the report because I just have to come and say something about it because it doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense, people. I get why we have so many people on this planet who gives up, who commit suicide. Those are the special ones. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're thinking about committing suicide, don't do that. You are the ones we need. You are the people who care. You are the ones who are affected by everything. I know it seems like you can't take it anymore, but you can take it because I've been through a lot more than you. I've seen a lot more death than most people have gone through in a whole lifetime who've even been in wars. I've watched people die in front of me. And as devastating and as painful as that was, I'm still here. I died on an operating table. I have suffered so much pain with blood clots in my kidney and my liver and in my lungs, and I'm still here. I've had people plotting against me to kill me, to take my life, and I'm still here. I'm not here because I am so special. I'm here because I trust the God that I serve. I have always trusted him. Yes, like many of you, I've made my mistakes, but I'm not here for you to judge me. And there have been many of you who have been picking up stones, bricks, anvils, and entire buildings to toss my way. Well, go ahead and toss them. You cannot cause me any more pain than I've already been through. My best friend died the day after he told me. We both said it to each other. He says, "You know you're my best friend," and I tell him in reply, "You know that you're my best friend." We both say the same thing to each other at the same time, and we make a promise to be there for each other. And then when we got married, we would live next door to each other. That was me and my best friend, and he dies the very next day, not more than 10 hours later. 3 weeks straight, I cried all day because of that pain, and I have not been through more pain than that. I would rather go through kidney pain the way I went through with the blood clots, and I promise you, you've never felt pain until you have had kidney pain. People talk about kidney stones and how painful that is. Well, imagine having kidney stones in the form of blood clots. That was me. Well, that wasn't as painful as my best friend not being there anymore. These people are losing their family members, their sons, their daughters, and they are not here anymore. Do you imagine what pain they're going through? Well, you need to start imagining what pain they're going through. If you people don't start caring, this is over. Look, we have Jehovah's Witnesses knocking on your doors. They're not trying to convince you to become a part of some stupid cult. They're trying to show you that Jehovah, the only true God, has promised something for mankind in our future. And they're trying to tell you we're running out of time. You know we're running out of time. I know we're running out of time. So why are you being so stubborn? Why are you being so stubborn? People are going to say, "Oh, mama, that boy losing his mind. Look at him. He just sitting up there just done lost it. He's sitting up there just, oh, Lord, have mercy." Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not losing my mind. You can't lose something you never had. So I'm not losing my mind. It was never mine. I never owned my mind. I never controlled my mind. My mind has always been controlled by others. My mind has always been controlled by others. When I was born into this world, my father controlled my mind. When I went to school, peer pressure controlled my mind. When I went to work, my employer controlled my mind. When I turned on the television controlled my mind. My mind has always been controlled by others. I've never controlled my own mind. You know how much effort it takes to control your own mind? To think for yourself? So what I had to do, and I'm just being honest with you, just go ahead and think about it. None of you control your own mind. No, what I had to do is I had to allow Jehovah to control. So when I go to sleep at night, I'm listening to something about him. I'm waking up to something about him so that my mind is on him, so that I allow that to control my mind. It has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with religion because I'm not listening to religion. He is not religion. He never was religion. That's like saying all the stuff I talk about is religion. Well, technically it is. Technically it is, but it's not. So everything my God talks about is not religion. Like I said, Jehovah's Witnesses are having an assembly, district convention, jw.org. Just go ahead and watch. It says, you'll see it, the new releases. It'll say morning and afternoon, Friday. And they're talking about pursuing peace. In this world of turmoil, there's no peace. I told people, I said, hey, the people who listen to my videos, they won't answer the door when Jehovah's Witnesses come. Sorry, it's just their personalities. But you know what they'll do? They'll listen to me up to a point. So I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, start caring about your neighbor. No, 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 not getting in your neighbor's business. Stay out of your neighbor's business. Their business is not your business, so stop making their business your business. Start caring about your neighbor. Start caring about what your neighbor is going through. Start caring about the fact that they look sad. Start caring about the fact that, wait a minute, you've had a lot of people over your house lately. Is there something wrong? I'm not trying to get in your business, but did you lose a family member or something? Is there somebody in your family that's hurt of something? Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Trust me, I don't want to be in your business. I'm your neighbor. And I just want to let you know that we are here. If there's anything you need, just ask. And if we can do it, we will get it done for you. And it is no strings attached because that doesn't happen anymore, ladies and gentlemen. We have neighbors and we don't even look after them. We have elderly neighbors and we don't even know. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a friend. Her husband had dementia and he passed away. He's the one I told you about that went through Katrina, and his son was there. His adult son was there. They decided to ride Katrina out. They wish they hadn't done that. But the son was talking about being stuck up in the attic and having to chisel and hammer to get through the roof because they couldn't go down because of the murky water. They would have died if they would have tried to get out that way. So they dug a hole in the roof and they climbed up to the roof and they had to sit there for a day. But he's trying to help his father, and his father has dementia, and his father doesn't even recognize who he is. So he's having to fight with his father because his father thinks that he's a stranger and he's coming to try to hurt him. That young man has not been the same since. That young man has not been the same since, barely even speaks to his family members. He was an all right young man. He was a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, her husband died. I think it was right around 2009, 2008. No, 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 no. Her husband died 2012, ladies and gentlemen. I just had to remember the end of 2012, 2013 is when her husband died. So for almost 10 years now, she's been alone. She's been diagnosed with dementia and Alzheimer's. I call her at least 3 times a month, and she tells me she doesn't know why I keep in touch with her. She's the one I told you she treated me more like a mother than my own mother did, in my opinion. Well, the reason why I felt that way is because when I met her, it was just before the operation. And it was her house I went by to get away from my family. Because they kept begging me, begging me, bothering me, asking me what was wrong, asking me if this was okay and that was okay. And I couldn't handle it at the time. When I would go over to her house, she'd cook and she'd leave me alone. And I'd hang with her kids. She had 2 sons that I hung around, one older than me. Well, no, they were both younger than me, and the third son was older. But the second one in the middle, the one who doesn't talk to anybody anymore, he was closer to my age, and so we kicked it and talked about everything. And that was home for me. I spent 3 months in a row at that house. Only went to my house to change clothes. Took a shower at their house. So, like I said, after the operation, that was all I remembered was being there and them being there for me. My family, they were there for me, but they didn't know how to be there for me. Ladies and gentlemen, all I needed was for nobody to be in my business. All I needed was for nobody to baby me. All I needed was for nobody to tell me how to take care of myself. I even get that with you guys, and you see that how much that pisses me off when you try to tell me, oh, well, you should try this and you should try that. Stay out of my business. I don't need your suggestions. If I needed your suggestions, I would ask you. That's why I'm telling you, your neighbors don't want you in their business. They just want you to care. One guy told me, he said, they just, when they lose someone, they just want somebody to be there to listen to them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, your neighbors are not sitting up there trying to tell you you got to be there every 5 seconds of the day, that you got to hold their hand. What your neighbors are trying to tell you is that, look, man, I'm going through some things. And the fact that you are concerned about me, that's enough for me. That lets me know that things are going to be better than I thought they were. I'm not going through this alone. No, I don't need you to hold my hand. I don't need you to walk with me down the street. I don't need you to go everywhere I go. Just the fact that you're there, that's all I need to know. Ladies and gentlemen, people are losing people left and right. And with this new pandemic they're about to unleash upon mankind, yes, it's going to be a new pandemic. They've already told you that that's what they're going to do. Be there for yourselves. Be there for your neighbors. Don't let your neighbors go through this junk alone. Don't you dare let yourself go through this alone. Start caring for each other. Okay, finally, I just put out some information, and the information I put out for all of you, it lets you know that all of your bills are already taken care of. Promissory notes, bills of exchange, all of that junk. All you got to do is follow the act. I gave you the congressional record. I gave you the acts of Congress to go with the congressional record. You don't understand. In law, that is called solidified evidence. It's unrebuttable. They cannot rebut that evidence. And if you just stand on it, send out the money orders, do the arbitration agreements. Don't let them tell you that SAA is a fraud. If SAA was a fraud, where are the criminal charges? Because I dare them to bring them forth. And to this day, they have threatened. We're doing an investigation. Well, do your investigation. Because the moment you do, we bring Congress and the Bradley Christopher Stark Act to the fore. Now prove that that was junk and it never happened. There were too many witnesses to that event, ladies and gentlemen. They can't cover that up. Don't you all understand? We started SAA in 2018. That was 4 years ago. It's still there. It ain't going nowhere. And SAA will continue to be fair. The only problem is, well, they're not confirming the awards. We don't need them to confirm the awards, ladies and gentlemen. We don't need them to confirm SAA's awards. Because we just simply write it off. We just simply charge it off. We just simply go after the credits. Why? Because that's how they set up the stupid government in the first place. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we can't create money out of thin air like they can. But we definitely can forgive debts. So the debt is created by means of the contract. A contract that we know to this day, they have not changed the Arbitration Act because they can't. Change the Arbitration Act, that stops all these big corporations from having access. That shuts down the American Arbitration Association and the judges, JAM Arbitration Association. You see, it messes with too much and they're trying to figure out a way around it and they can't. Why? Because SAA does things the right way. They don't cut corners. People say, well, they don't even hold hearings. They don't have to hold a hearing. All they have to do is give the parties an opportunity of presenting evidence. And every single arbitration ever conducted by SAA was on one premise, whether or not the other party was in default. There is no need to hold a hearing on a default judgment. Default judgments are summary proceedings. But nobody pays attention to the request for a summary disposition. That's what the document is called, request for summary disposition, which means that it's a non-hearing hearing. It's a non-in-person hearing. It's a non-in-camera hearing. It is a chamber hearing only. And the evidence is the only witnesses that get to be present besides the arbitrator. So if you can prove that the other party was in default, if you can prove that you sent them a copy of the contract, you have your arbitration agreement. Look, as I end this, let me go ahead and just tell it to you like this. Those of you who have arbitration agreements or who don't have arbitration agreements and you have an organization or a company that's caused you so many problems. You tried to communicate with them and they ignored you. So you send them one of the contracts. And they ignore that too. 3 days. They don't opt out of that contract in 3 days. You send them 9 days later. Hey, you didn't provide the information I asked for. You're in default. I'm going to give you an opportunity to cure the default. Okay? You have 72 hours to cure the default. And then after that, you don't have to send them any more notices. Technically, you don't even have to send them that notice. Why? Because the contracts say that they waive all notices. Don't take my word for it. Go ahead and read it. Just did a video putting the arbitration clause on the video so you can listen to it. Go over it. Look at the contract. It's solidified. All the loopholes solidified. Why? Because it's not a one-sided contract. If they provide what they're supposed to provide, you will provide what you're supposed to provide. Just that simple. It's a simple contract. It's a fair contract. Why? On both sides. But if they can't provide the information that they're required to provide by law, then they're in default. They don't need a signature. See, I heard somebody on a video say that a contract needs 2 signatures, and they talk about contract law. That's not contract law. Contract law understands a unilateral contract. Contract law understands a performance or a conduct contract. A contract may be acknowledged by acts, actions, inactions, and or forbearances. Go ahead and do the research on it. You don't need to sign. It's called a unilateral contract, and then it's called a performance agreement. The reason why you get performance agreement, because in the old days, you know how people used to go and they perform in these little things that came to town, little fairs, little circus things that came to town, performances, and they used to perform and they used to get paid for performing. Those were called performance agreements. Every actor, every artist who sings signs a performance agreement at one point or another in their lives. Okay, because it's based on their conduct. They don't even have to sign the agreement. It's based on their conduct, just like you. When you sit up there and you walk into a courtroom and they say all rise, you just entered into a contract by your performance when you stood up. Don't worry about it. It's just the way it is. So for those of you, the idea was we needed to create a contract similar, and we did. The only problem is we couldn't bind them to the agreement. Then came along Demetrius Hawkins, Bradley Christopher Stark, and Michael Rideout, and their attorney that went before Congress got a bill passed and had Congress document that the contract was binding upon the government officials. But see, many of you guys are trying to demand and make government officials pay. Stop doing that. Just get the contract solidified. Do the contract before they change the law. Look, this video has taken a lot out of me. How do I know? Because my chest is hurting. Because this is probably the most painful video I've done since I started doing videos. If you can't hear it in my voice, the cracking of my voice, that's my stress level. Ladies and gentlemen, they shot the young man 60 times. 60 times. How do you justify that? So he ran from them. That's not justification for 60 times. Okay, 1 or 2, fine. They shot him in the leg. But all of those bullets landed in that man's back. They were trying to kill him. They weren't trying to stop him. Ladies and gentlemen, they fired 93 rounds, hitting him 60 of 93 times. They were trying to kill him. This guy who was up on the roof firing down at the crowd, over 70 rounds. He was trying to kill people. He wasn't just trying to maim people. Do you understand the difference, ladies and gentlemen? But hold on a minute. I need y'all to work with me. I can't say that he was the guy who did it. What if they knew that this guy just purchased some weapons and he lived in that town and they had somebody else doing the shooting because we don't have any eyewitnesses? And they say it was this guy and he was just out driving and they followed him and knew he was just out driving and he has no alibi. And all the cameras in that small little town that could have picked him up showing that he was nowhere near the scene, they have possession of, and they can control, erase, and say it did not pick up any footage. You all need to understand it ain't what it is, and it isn't never what they say it is. Something is not right about that shooting. I just found out about it this afternoon, and something is not right. They said he was in a dress, and then he got out of the dress and came down off the roof, and then got into a car, and then drove away and went back where? He didn't leave town. He went back home. That's what then to find out he didn't even go back home. They found him driving. And he got out of the car and ran. No shots fired. And they arrested him without incident. Something's not right, people. And I guarantee you he was being seen by some type of specialist, mental specialist. Go ahead. You'll see it come out in the next couple of days. It just happened. Today's the 5th. It just happened yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have an arbitration contract, you need an arbitration award in order to back up your claim for collecting the credits. Get the arbitration done. You don't need to get it confirmed, ladies and gentlemen. Stop going to these judges. I told you guys to give us a chance to go before the Supreme Court. We will be there shortly. We just need enough of you, and not enough of you have gotten these awards. Okay? We need to show because they have a case. I just did the video this morning about the truck drivers. Because it's only California, it's not a case that can go before the Supreme Court where they have to take it. Because it only affects one state. However, if it was the United States Congress passing such a law, then the Supreme Court would have no other choice but to take the case. Well, we have people from just about every state of this union having their arbitrations kicked out. Okay? I promise you, with all of the damage that was done from the operation with the aphasia, the retrograde amnesia, with the hypoxia, um, let's just say I am slowing down. But you guys, those of you who know me, you know every summer this happens. Okay? I don't get a lot done at the beginning of the summer because I'm going from spring to summer. So I'm still making that adjustment and it ain't easy. However, things are getting a little bit easier because we have these longer days with 14 hours of sunlight. Okay, I just don't get enough sunlight because I'm sitting here in front of this stupid computer. Right now, while I'm doing this video, the reason why we're not having any problems with the internet and things interfering and the computer's slowing down and me not being able to go anyplace, because I'm disconnected from the internet. You may not be able to see up there, but you can see right down. Oh, you can't even see down here because I remember I got the screen where the internet part is cut off. But I'm disconnected from the internet, and I'm gonna, for the most part, I'm gonna have the windows already pulled up and be disconnected from the internet, so we don't have any more problems that I've been having. I'm tired of their stupidity. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you've gotten, and I need you to pay attention to this because we got 7 more minutes, and then I'm shutting this thing down. I'm not gonna go a full hour. I would have stopped at 25 minutes, but I decided I wanted to talk about arbitration. If you've already gotten your arbitration award from that arbitrator, then the arbitrator's already sent a notice saying that they owe a debt and they need to pay. All right, so just send them a letter, letting them know, hey, you ain't paid, you need to pay, and then do a 1099A and 1099C. I need you all to understand that's what AmeriLegion is for. You see, what you don't know is there is a process that has to be done in order for you to go before the comptroller of the currency. That's what AmeriLegion is doing. AmeriLegion is completing that process. I just got notification of the proof of service of the guys that have completed the process so far and the young ladies. I just got notification of their proof of services. We'll make sure that all the proof of services go out to everybody so that they'll know that the documents have been sent out the way that they're supposed to be sent out. And then next week, we are going to forgive the debt. We don't have to wait the full 10 days, 20 days, 30 days. We do it in the midst of the time. So we'll forgive the debt and individuals will write it off. Now remember, there are a lot of people out there who don't understand tax credits. Not all the credits are tax credits. They're just credits. Look up the phrase money credits. Okay? Because they are credits, you're going to carry them forward because these debts are from years ago. So you're going to carry them forward. And they are credits that you've documented. Now you get to write them off on your taxes. So if you owe taxes, you don't owe anything else because it gets offset and you get a refund. Not of the full amount, but you will get a refund. You will owe less taxes because of the tax credit aspect. But the money credit is a different thing. So y'all just need to be patient as I continue to bring forth the information you need. But I'm not going to give it all to you in one swallow. Why? Because I never promised I would. I'm not even supposed to be doing this for you, telling you how to go about utilizing it because you didn't pay me for that. You didn't pay anybody for that service. So get off of my jock. Let me breathe. Let me breathe. Ladies and gentlemen, there are going to be more George Floyds. There are going to be more Trayvon Martins. There are going to be more Breonna Taylors. These are people nobody's talking about anymore. I told you, just wait, and nobody was going to be talking about George anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, they keep telling us all kind of stories. If it wasn't for people standing there and them videotaping George Floyd, we just would have heard about a person dying in police custody. That's all we would have heard. Ladies and gentlemen, when you're hearing about people dying in police custody, they're not just dying in police custody. Something contributed to it. It's going to get worse. If you don't speak out on it now, if you don't start speaking up on it now, if you don't start worrying about it now, it will happen to you or somebody you care about. You all need to understand that. Eventually, it's going to hit home. Eventually, it's going to hit home. Now, if you've noticed, I'm playing the instrumental to Boys to Men in the background. This is going to be the last time it will play. We're going to be bringing this to a close on this time around. It is absolutely necessary, ladies and gentlemen, that I try to get your attention. My hope is all I need is for one of you, just one. I don't need 15, 20, 30, 100. I just need one of you to pay attention to this. I will put this up on both channels, Eon and Redress. I won't do this again. You have my word. I won't do this again. You really don't get to see this side of me. I don't show this side of me to nobody. Ladies and gentlemen, all of you think you know me. If you really want to know me, go back and listen to this. This is me talking without worrying about what I'm saying to you, other than trying to make sure you understand that there is something wrong with our world. Ladies and gentlemen, there is something wrong. When we got the fact that police officers can chase somebody down and shoot them in the back, we all know that it is against the law for the police to shoot anyone in the back. But they're going to justify it by saying, well, he fired a gun out of the window and we thought he had a gun. No, you don't get the thought he had a gun, because all the family has to do is say it's impossible for him to have turned towards you to fire at you and you to think he had a gun when he was running away from you. But again, the city is going to settle with them, and it's going to settle for pennies. Why? Because there is no money. Inflation. It's not going to be enough no matter what they settle for, because that young man isn't here anymore. Did he have a gun? You know one thing that they cannot do? They cannot say that he was a gang member. They cannot say that he had a record. They cannot say that he had just gotten released from prison, because that's usually what they say. They can't say that with that young man. He was firing a gun out of the window is what they said, so that you guys can think it's justified. Ladies and gentlemen, they had time. What if they doctored the footage? We don't know. Stop accepting their word for it, people. Question everything. Now, I don't mean being skeptical about everything. That's not what I'm suggesting. That's not what anyone would ever suggest. But ladies and gentlemen, quit accepting the stupidity. Question everything. I know that everything's going to eventually be all right, but for right now, things aren't all right, ladies and gentlemen. Things are not all right. You, me, we are here. You remember that cartoon, We Are Here, We Are Here, We Are Here? Well, start acting like it, people. I gotta go. Y'all take care. I'm out. Like I said, under an hour.